Hey, you guys. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. I guess it could be evening too, depending on where you are. Oh, Lord, my hands are so dry. Um, so welcome to Royce's, our quick crafts with Royce this morning. I am feeling a little bit under the weather this morning. So you guys, please look over my energy. If it's not the same as usual. I'm fine. I just woke up a little, I don't know. So, for today's project, you guys, I found these. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Lord have mercy for Jesus. If you're new here, my name is Royce Bell. I'm the founder, owner, and operator of Roycycled Treasures. At Roycycled Treasures, we empower creation by providing quality craft supplies, instruction, encouragement, and inspiration. And that's whether you're creating for your heart, for your home, or even for your business. We've got something for you. So I hope you'll hang out. If you're new and you're popping on, good morning, Tara. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you. It's not horrible. It's just my sinuses are just, we are getting rain. So my body may not just be used to the moisture. That may be what it is. But I'm fine. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Sylvia. So for my quick crafts, you guys, we've been meeting every day in the month of January to kickstart our creativity for 2026. And today, let's see, today's the 24th. So I think this is my 22nd live though, because I didn't start till the second and I missed one. So this is our 22nd day of lives that we're doing here today. I'm going to show you guys what the project looked before we started. Um, so that you guys can see what we're working on this morning. I scored this. I always buy bookends, but I haven't taken the time to do one. So since we're meeting every day, like I guess now it's the time. So these are the bookends. You guys will see the bottom that goes like under the books is metal and the top was wood. And so I took the screws out of the bottom and removed the metal from there so that we could work on them today. Let me see. Oh, and so this is just everything taken apart. And of course, I put my screws in a little bit of a Ziploc bag so that I could actually find it later. You guys might want to hear me, huh? I apologize. I hope you guys heard everything I said. You guys let me know if you could hear me earlier, because if not, we can I can say it all again. So I'm okay, you guys. Like it's probably like a head cold or something. You know, I just don't have time for it because I have stuff to do. So, oh, let me remove that picture. I've already done some prep work. You guys already know I do prep before we come together. So that oh, okay, thank you, Tara. So that we can get through the project, because my purpose, quick crafts with Royce, was supposed to be really quick crafts, but y'all know me. It just didn't work out that way. So the craft will probably not be quick, but we will do it from start to finish. And so this is the wooden part of the I should move this over a little bit. Oh no, I moved it the wrong way, huh? You would think I'd have my stuff together by now after I go live so often. So these are just the wood part, and I'm gonna cheat, you guys. So you guys see how there's like divots in there, and I could have filled those in or something, but honestly, I really didn't have time. So what I'm gonna do is cheat, and I'm gonna put them on backwards when we're done. So the part that we do this morning will be the part facing out. And I'm going to do a textured finish over the back to make it a little less obvious. And that'll be facing in anyway. So we won't really care about that. And I also did some molds ahead of time. You guys, I love my countertop food dehydrator. Seriously, I did these this morning and I put them in the dehydrator for like, I don't know, maybe 30 or 45 minutes, and they're already dry enough for us. I could have left them in longer, but I actually kind of like that they're still a little bit malleable. But the top is completely dry, which means we can paint and do all the things that we want to do. So this is what I'm going to put on the tops of these, but we're going to decoupage first. But before we decoupage, we are going to paint. So we've done milk paint over milk paint, and we've done milk paint over chalk style paint. Today we're going to do milk paint over um, a clay-based paint. Oh, Kathy, the reveal tomorrow. So you guys, what had happened was, no, I was already pushing things with the launch just because we got the papers in the warehouse a lot later than I had anticipated, and I wanted to get them out to my retailers and launch so that they could recoup, their investments as quickly as possible. But a couple of things happened. Monday was not a mail day because of the Martin Luther King holiday, and with the deep freezes in a lot of the southern states specifically that aren't even used to freezing, I know that there's going to be delays in shipping. And so we've actually delayed the launch until Wednesday. So what I'll do is Wednesday, during our quick craft, I'll do a reveal and we'll do a project together of the new designs. And so the molds that I did are actually out of air dry clay. And so that's why I put them in my dehydrator so that they would dry enough for us to be able to work with them. And so I'm going to get a base coat of, oh yeah, and let's talk about the paper before I start painting. So when I was thinking about what paper I was going to use this morning, I went through, you guys should see me trying to make up my mind. It's just so ridiculous. I thought that it would be cool, even though this is the dress form project blocks decoupage paper. And I was like, even though there's a dress form on here, there are so many other yummy bits that it might be fun to do like one side like this and have it be light, and then do the other side with this little bit here with the chandelier. And like that will be really fun. Um, and I considered doing the classical masterboard because there's just so many yummy bits on this masterboard that it would be a beautiful background. And I think I looked at this right here because it's the same, right? It's like one big image, and it's enough to cover both. So I could have half of this on one and half on the other. I did settle on finally using the houndstooth came my name first, and that's not the right word. We're going to use this as our backing today because I think that it's the most appropriate. Hey, Flea, for what we're going to do. And so that's what we're going to do. But I did want to show you guys something. So you guys have seen my like project block ones, and I had one other one that you guys hadn't seen. This is the cowgirl project block. And this is Calamity Jane here in this one. And this is, I believe this is also Calamity Jane. It's just a different representation of her, right? And then on this side, you have like these elements that you can also use, but they're all themed the same. And the thing about these like project block designs is that if you're working on a vignette, you can make a bunch of different projects and they'll go together beautifully, right? So that's the cowgirl project blocks. You guys have seen the dress form project blocks, and then this one is the junk journal project blocks. And so again, you have two larger images, which these are just beautiful, yummy pieces of ephemera that are on this side. And then you have like, washi tape is what I was thinking about when I made this. And then you have a lot of smaller elements. And even though they're all different, everything marries together beautifully. So if you're someone who does like art journaling or junk journaling or collage, this sheet would be really fun to work with. But for today, we're actually going to be using the Harlequin. Thank you, Flea. I'm not feeling well. If you guys just popping on, so if my energy is a little down, just look past that, you guys, because I woke up this morning. I think I've been going at about 200% for a while now, for 2 or 3 weeks. And yesterday I hit a wall. And I think today my body is demanding that I rest, which I will after we're done here. So we're going to use the Harlequin on ours. I think that that's like perfect for this crest and crown, right? Um, but first we have to paint. So let's get painting. I did go ahead and I primed the side that we're going to decoupage. And for those of you who weren't on a few minutes, when I got these, this part was on the outside, but we're going to flip them. And we're going to put our decorated side on the inside, and we're going to put this on the inside because I just didn't have time to go in with wood. I could have gone in with some wood filler and then sanded it and then did it. But honestly, I didn't want to do all that. And I really didn't have time because I had something else prepped, but I changed my mind every day, you guys, every single day. I drive myself crazy. I changed my mind with what I'm going to do for my project. And so I'm like running around trying to get everything done. So we're going to start with a base coat. I'm going to use a clay-based paint today. Oh, Carolyn, yes, you don't want your paint to freeze. I can't wait to see that clipboard, Flea. So I was talking earlier about what we've done. We've used the milk paint on top of milk paint. We've used milk paint on top of a clay-based paint. I mean, on top of a chalk style paint. And so today we're going to use our milk paint over a clay-based paint. And so this color to me is close to a praying wife, which is the milk paint that I've been using. It is a little more orange, but it's okay because it'll be the color underneath the color. Actually, that's a lot more orange than I thought it was going to be. We'll see what happens. But I just wanted a color underneath the black to peek through. I almost did red. Now I'm thinking that maybe I should have done red because I don't know if I like this. This is oranger than I thought it was going to be. A praying wife is more yellow. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's orange. Let me look. Let's not be hasty. Um, we'll move forward. We'll see. I'll experiment and see, and then if ultimately I don't like it, then I'll know. And I am so sorry that I'm clearing my throat. I don't know what's going on. You guys ever start feeling sick and like you feel it coming on, like it's catching up? It's like you're running away and it's catching up with you. That's how I'm feeling this morning. So we'll see. And I know that I have a lot of my friends who are dealing with freezing weather this weekend. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying warm. I think for the states that are used to it, you guys are probably okay. But my people in Texas, they're not used to this freezing weather, not in the parts where it's supposed to be freezing. And dealing with cold is a lot different when you don't have the infrastructure to really handle it. So I'm going to blast this really quickly and then we'll do the edges. This looks a lot more orange in person than it does on the camera. I do have my tea. Y'all, my husband calls my tea voodoo tea. He's because it actually there I call it tea. There are no tea bags in here. It is literally just some dehydrated lemon slices. I put like 5 in here, and they rehydrate in the water. And then I put some dehydrated candied ginger and some hot water. Like that's all that's in there. But he calls it my voodoo tea. It does make me feel better though. It's probably the vitamin C, no doubt. Now we know with the clay-based paint that it'll reactivate if we just try to go right back over it. So I am going to seal this after I paint it before we go in with the milk paints, which is probably going to help us get some crack-a-lackin'. And I have so many layers planned. I hope we can get through them all. And I didn't give you guys a product list, did I? So we're going to use clay-based paints as our base coat. And I'm going to be using a dark, like almost black milk paint to go over this. We'll be decoupaging with the recycled dress form project blocks decoupage paper. I have some clay molds that I've made, and I kind of modified my crown. I'll show you guys once we get it painted so that it looks like it's wrapping around the crest. I had a very specific image in my mind. I'm going to be creating like a rusty finish over the top of my crown and my crest. And so I'm going to be using black, orange, some little bit of red, maybe some brown. And then we'll probably finish up with some clear and dark wax. So that is the plan. And I'll be using a water-based varnish to both adhere my decoupage paper and to seal it today. And if we have time, you guys know I'm going to do crackle over the paper. So we'll see if we have enough time for that. I may have to cheat and squeeze it in on another project. I'm just putting another coat on here. There was nothing pretty about this wood, so I'm just painting it right over it. This paint is probably like 2 years old, so it's gotten thick. But if your clay-based paint gets thick, it's not a big deal. You can just mist your surface and the paint will move across easier. And that's the same for chalk style paint too. If you're ever like trying to blend your chalk style paint and it's not moving really nicely over the surface or easily, you can just mist it. Don't wet it, because if you break down the emulsion, it's hard. It doesn't work the same. It gets like watery. So you just want to mist your surface just a little bit. Okay. And yeah, I wash my brushes. Look, I have a brand new jar of water today because I washed all my brushes. Carol says it's 6:15 a.m. in Australia. Oh my goodness. Now 45 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that I should know what that is, but I do not. Is that cold or is that warm? That's warm, right? And so I am going to just dry this before I go in, and I'm going to seal this one really quickly before we go in with our milk paint. And so I don't know if you guys, those of you who've been with me for a while, you guys probably remember I went to the IOD conference in Sacramento a couple of years ago, and in our swag bags, we got some DIY paint. And I forgot, I packed it in my flipping carry-on. So we get to security, and security, they took my paint, y'all. I was so sad. But Debbie Beard was so nice. She sent me some more paint. She saw my post and she sent me some more paint. Oh, it's hot. Okay, Sylvia, I'm sorry, girl. I know Fahrenheit. I don't know Celsius. It's hot. Even in Arizona, like today, the desert is interesting because you would think that with clear skies that it would be warmer at night, right? But when there's no cloud coverage, like any heat that's accumulated through the day, not any of it, but a lot of it just goes straight up. And so what happens in the desert is it's really warm, but at night it cools off like significantly. So yesterday we started getting some cloud coverage and it was cold. But today it actually we have cloud coverage and it's rainy, but it's not super cold. And I believe it's just because we have the atmosphere to hold in, and maintain temperatures, which is not what we're used to. So even though it looks rainy and cold outside, it was so dark this morning. It's actually not bad. And you guys know that I have my silicone cup, and this is a medium that I poured in there probably at the beginning of the week. And so you guys see what's happening. It's beginning to get thick, but I can still use it though. It's still fine. It just starts thickening up after a while. But usually I can keep medium in this cup for about a week and a half. It'll be 2 weeks though, or so before it like gets solid. And then I can just pop it out because nothing sticks to the silicone. And I'm just going to do a quick coat. And if you guys are just popping on, welcome to Quick Crafts with Royce. I am meeting you guys here every morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to do crafts together. They're supposed to be quick, but that went out the window like 2 weeks ago. But we do complete them from start to finish. And honestly, I feel like a lot of you are probably bunkered in because of the cold. So if we hang out a little longer today, I think we'll be okay, right? And why y'all let me do that before I painted my edges? So I haven't been monitoring the comments at all, and I don't monitor them super closely. I'll look up every now and again because I don't want to get distracted because we want to finish. So you were using my paper in your live? I didn't see you last night. I have to go check it out. Thank you, by the way. And Kat, I have to figure out my affiliate program. I put your PayPal email in there, and I don't know if it's paid you out yet. It's supposed to do it automatically. Girl, I'm sure it's user error because I don't know what I'm doing. But let me know if you've got received a payment yet. And if you haven't, I will go in there and see if there's something else I'm supposed to do. I don't know. I thought the whole purpose of having the program was so I wouldn't have to do anything. That's what they told me when they took my money. Um, let me do the sides. I put the paint away and I haven't even done the side yet. So, and you guys, I might be a little more off than usual because I'm not feeling 100%. So y'all might have to help me out. Maybe that's why I didn't see that the pigment that was sitting right in front of me, literally right in front of me yesterday. That was just so hilarious. I meant to paint the sides and I forgot. I don't mind if I get a little bit on my white because I can always touch that up if I need to. And you guys know I'm going to be putting a grungy halo on here anyways. So if we get a little paint on the front, it's fine. I did use primer to paint white over this top because I wasn't sure I wasn't sure if it was going to bleed a lot. The finish on it did come off pretty easily when I was washing it, but it didn't bleed. So I was happy about that. Or if there was any bleeding, it didn't show through. But I think it just didn't bleed. It all depends on the wood. And when I talk about priming or, prepping properly, I'll have people say, well, that's never happened to me. I mean, if there's no guarantee that you're going to get bleeding, right? But especially with furniture, I think it's probably more important than anything. If I'm painting a piece of furniture, I am going to prime because I have had a piece. I painted it. It was a beautiful blended finish. I put some transfers on it, some molds. Ugh. And then I walked by like 2 weeks later and I have big old blotchy marks everywhere on my piece. It traumatized me, you guys. So I'll never do that again. So I always prime, especially when I'm doing furniture. And if you don't want to deal with a white primer, you don't have to because there are colored primers. If I would have done this white primer and it would have bled, I would have used clear primer on the back before starting to paint today. So you have options. And then I'm not going to talk about brands right now. We'll talk about primer another day because there's a new product out there. Thank you, Kat. I'm not going to paint the bottom because this part's going to be adhered to the metal. So we don't care about that part. And I'm probably putting more attention to the back than most people would, but I don't know. If it peaks and somebody sees it, I don't want them to see that it's just unfinished wood. And this is a chance for us to play too, to see how the milk paint does over the sealed clay-based paint. I feel like it's not going to be too much different because we're sealing it. The reason why I'm sealing it first is because I don't want this color to mix with my dark color. So I want to make sure that it's like set in place. And so we're sealing it too afterwards. And I thought about using red. I think I'm going to have to do that. Some point this month, we're going to do red with the black over it. So for this project, you guys, I know that we did the art blocks. It took us 3 days. We did 3 different art blocks over 3 days. And somebody was looking and they're saying, okay, that's lovely, but like, what am I going to do with those, right? So this is one of the projects. And I always say, whenever you guys see me make something, I make it small, honestly, because it's just easier, right? I'm sitting here at my table, and it's just easier for me to be able to show you exactly what I'm doing. But the approaches we use, the products we use, you know, everything that we use, you guys can use them for whatever you want. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to replicate exactly what I did. So, you know, we did these, right? These art blocks. They could just as easily be the side of a bookend, right? Or anything else that would be shaped similarly. It doesn't have to be an art block necessarily. Oh, are you doing the paintable roses? I love the paintable decoupage papers. I really do. I almost actually, so I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek until tomorrow. So I was going to do the project I'm going to show you guys right now. We are going to do it today, but I thought that this project would be a good bookend. Get that? A good bookend to our art block series, because we're basically going to take our same approach that we took on the art blocks and apply it to something practical. So I went ahead and flipped them, and we're going to do this one first. But I saw some bags from, did I seal that top part? I did. I saw some bags from Anthropologies, and they're supposed to be, I don't know if they're actually made from old paintings, but that's what they say. Let me see if I can find pictures. I'm going to show you guys. This is what we're going to do tomorrow. So I saw a picture of these bags at Anthropology that are supposed to be made from old paintings. So, you know, paintings are just stretched canvas. So I guess they're taking the canvases from these old paintings, and they're making bags with them. And so I thought that we could make um, a canvas bag tomorrow. It won't be from an old painting, but it will look like it's from an old painting. So that's tomorrow's live. So I hope you guys will join me for that. That's what we're going to do today. But I thought the bookends would be like a better, I don't know, tie-in with the art blocks that we've been doing. So we're doing that now. Good morning, Karen. So this is that. Now we're going to do our milk paint. I've already mixed my milk paint in advance. Equal parts milk and paint. I do add a little bit more powder to mine because I like for mine to be a little bit thicker. I think when I make it thicker, I'm more apt to get like the crackles that I like. And now that I've sealed this, I do feel like I'm more likely to get crackle, but I am going to do thin coats, not super thick today, because I don't want it to be super chippy. I just want it to be a little bit chippy. So I'm going to put like really nice, thin, even coats. And we'll dry the top and then we'll go and we'll do the sides. And again, when I'm doing these quick crafts, I'm not mentioning brands during the video because I want my retailers to be able to share the videos, and everybody carries different brands. But if you ask me what brand I'm using in the comments, I will come back and answer you later. And if you have a creative business and you're looking for a product to carry, consider recycled decoupage papers and stencils. Um, it's a really good product. The price point is really, really good. It can be a nice entry point for new customers to come and create with products that you sell. I always say when people come to buy decoupage paper, they're probably going to buy clear coat and probably at least one other thing. Very seldom when I had my shop did someone just buy like paper, like early on when I had my shop and I was selling directly before I got retailers. And we have continued education opportunities. Any of the decoupage or stencil courses that you see that we sell, those are actually free to recycled retailers. Um, but our business training is actually a quarterly Zoom call, so we meet in real time. I bring my business coaches in to teach about different things. Although this quarter I'll be teaching about using ChatGPT to tin up your productivity. Um, there's something else. Every time there's a third thing that I can never remember until I'm off camera and then I remember. But if you're interested in becoming a Roycycle retailer and you want more information, you can go to roycycle.com and go. If you click on wholesale, you'll see at the bottom that there is a place for you to submit an entry or submit like an interest form. And my assistant Stephanie will circle back to you with additional information. And I'm painting this because I want it to be smooth. I don't want it to run. And I'm going to do 2 coats and then we'll do each side. And then we'll get to the fun stuff, which is the decoupage. And I didn't cheat this time. I pretty much did equal parts water to paint. The second coat of milk paint is kind of tricky because you don't want to rub off the first coat. So you're just kind of laying the paint on there. You're not really brushing it, if that makes sense. Because everywhere when I go back over with my brush, I'm picking up the first coat. So you got to kind of lay it down and leave it. We have one of my recycled besties members. She is like, she loves milk paint so much. And so because she's really good at it and she has a lot of information, she's going to be one of our guest instructors and teach us about milk paint. Okay. We're going to dry this layer and then we're going to do the sides. And I know it will probably be easier for me to do a lot of this stuff before I come on with you guys, but like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my prep is already too much. I like for us to do it together so we can learn together because sometimes you guys know more than I do, right? Look, my adrenaline's kicked in because I'm here with you guys, so I feel good. And then when I come off, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. And I meant to send a message out on my channel. I'm gonna do it real quick, okay, you guys. If I can do it from my phone. Can I do it from my phone? No, I do not want to be the chamber right now. You guys should see how many pages I manage. It's ludicrous. Not manage necessarily, but that I'm a manager on. Okay. Sorry about that. Ah, man. Look what I did. It crackle-lackled right there where I had all that heat. It's fine. That's a little bit more crackle. And the milk paint, you just don't know. Probably if I didn't seal the clay paint, it probably wouldn't have crackled as much. But then I may have had that color mixed in with my black paint. So that crackled quite a bit, right? Hey, Chris. You guys, if you guys are interested in having a community of creative women that you can, um, I don't know, it's just really good. And I've been so blessed with our community. They are generous. They are like nice people, like genuinely nice people. So super talented. And we get together once a week and we meet in real time. So it's not like a Facebook Live. We meet on my platform in real time. And I teach 3 lessons a month. Well, there's 3 lessons taught a month. A lot of times it's two from me and then one from a guest instructor. And then the last Saturday of the month, we just like hang out and have coffee on a Saturday morning and we talk about whatever. But honestly, I teach for like 40 minutes and then we talk about whatever for the rest of the time. So if you're looking for a community, if you're looking to grow creatively, you can find the link to find out more information about the Recycled Besties group at recycledacademy.com. Um, it's almost like a lab. Like I really am a mad scientist over there. And I was thinking this morning because I do feel like tomorrow's project is going to be something that I would normally do inside of my membership because we do a lot of experimentation. So we spent weeks on painting on fabric. And what does that look like? And what are the options? And I'm buying the products. So, like when we did fabric, for instance, I bought two different brands of fabric paint. And I bought a fabric medium that you could mix with acrylic paint. And I think, did we experiment with chalk paint? And then there are things that you can use like to iron on to fabric. And so I bought 2 different brands of that product for us to experiment with. And so we kind of go through these exercises where we're taking deep dives, not just for the sake of taking a deep dive, but really examining the process, the products, what works, what doesn't work. And so I feel like it's a really fast way to get experience. With creating because you're going to learn what works and what doesn't work watching me. So you don't have to be the one who goes out and buys a bunch of products and then you have them and you don't, you have them and you don't like them. And we did air dry clay, and it was through the lab for the air dry clay that I discovered my favorite clay that I like, and I use it all the time. And it just happened to be around the same time that I heard Lynn Brundage from L&J Good mention that she uses her food dehydrator for her clay. And so that's when I started using my dehydrator. And it just gives you so much more flexibility because a lot of times with clay, you either put it on when it's wet, right? And you deal with the possibility that it might crack more, or you have to like be prepared beforehand, which I'm not good at that, right? I'm usually last minute. So having the dehydrator is nice because I can make a decision. I can get up in the morning and decide I'm going to teach you guys something, and I'll still have clay ready to go because I can cast it and put it in my food dehydrator. That was supposed to be for lemons, but it'll just be with the rest of my craft appliances. I think I'm going to do 1 coat on the edge, you guys, instead of 2. Um, and we'll dry that. Because I think if I had done 1 coat on that, I probably wouldn't have gotten as much chippage. That's a word, by the way. Chippage is a word. These look like headstones. Oh, I know. I could do headstones like for Halloween. Put a cross and bones right there on the front. But I'm going to cheat, Flea. This is actually going to be the inside. So this will be what's facing the books. I just didn't want to leave it undone completely. So we're going to do a finish on them. And I'm going to have chips everywhere. and not potato chips either. Hey, Lisa. The cool thing about the milk paint is it dries really fast. How is it 12:41? What? How does that happen so quickly? Hey, Dee, how are you? I hope it's helpful. I think so. I have a couple of my besties here. And then like they're friends too now, even away from the group, which is so beautiful to see. Because y'all know how it is. Like for us creative personalities, like our family and our friends, they love us, but they don't, they don't quite get it. So it's nice to have a group of friends who get it. And we've been together for, it's crazy to think about, but my group is 2 years old in January. So, like, I believe February, the first Wednesday in February will be our like legitimately 1 year anniversary from the first time that we met. Um, so that'll be I should do something for our 2 year anniversary, huh? Hmm. Let me think. What should I do for our anniversary? Oh yeah, Lisa, for real. Oh, you know what? I should use that with my milk paint. That's a good idea. Because I use a coffee grinder. So I like to make a paper mache clay. And sometimes, depending on what kind of clay I'm making, I like to put my toilet paper in my coffee grinder, the coffee bean grinder, because it makes it like really, really fine when I mix it. Okay. So that's it. We painted, and you guys see it looks ashy right now, right? We're going to do some wet distress on this. And then we are going to, I don't want to wax it yet. I'm going to wax everything at the end at the same time. So you guys will have to you guys will have to watch me get rid of the ashiness at the end. I don't want to get wax somewhere where we don't want it and then affect adhesion for the rest of our project. So I'm going to save the wax for the end. But I am going to go in and just do a little bit of wet distressing, not a ton. Back to that other color. I don't have to do any distressing on the front because it's done for me. Okay. And that is going to be that. Let me get rid of all these flecks real quick before we move on so we don't end up with them in our project. Because that was a lot more than I anticipated. And I guess that's the thing I'm going to have to learn about the milk paint is that it's just unpredictable, which I guess is fine. It's why I don't like paint pours. I need me a little mini. One of our members, she has like a little vacuum that she uses on her desktop. I was like, that's a really good idea. So if you're someone who uses like, I don't know, gold leaf or glitter, I guess they have little desktop vacuums that you can use for that. I think we should paint these first. Let's go ahead and get these painted. This project is like a whole lot of pieces. And then at the end, everything is going to come together. Hey, Sherry. My phone thinks I'm talking to her. Okay. And so I'm going to do something weird. I could cut this top part off, but I want my crown to bow out like that. So I'm going to leave it on there, but I do want to paint it like it's one piece. So I'm trying to figure this out. Maybe I think I'll take some Type Bond and glue this on there so that it doesn't move while I'm painting. And then I'll just paint it like it's all one unit. I think that's the best way to go about this. And I was using my craft butter knife. And when I laid it down to scrape it off, it put texture on the back. And I thought it's probably a good idea for us to do that when we're doing our projects. Because if you watch clay artists, they always put texture on the back of their clay whenever they're going to like adhere it to another piece of clay. And so now that's going to be part of my like practice every time is to add texture to the back of my clay pieces so that they'll adhere more readily. I got some glue where I don't want it, so I'm just going to use this little brush and get rid of that. That's no bueno. Okay. And the thing we love about Type Bond is that it does get tacky right away. So it only takes a few minutes and I'll be able to go in and paint that and not have to worry about it wiggling all around. I'm trying to think about which brush. This brush really shouldn't be out here, but I don't want to use that one. We'll use this one. I should have brought in one of my small round brushes. It'll be fine. So I'm actually going to use an additive in my paint today to give it more texture, which we haven't done together yet on these specific lives. And you can use different products. There are different brands on the market, and it's powder that you can add to your paint, and it thickens your paint so that you can add texture. And I'm not going to need a ton, so I'm not going to bother like mixing it in a cup or anything. And generally, I'll start out with a 50-50 mixture, generally, but y'all know I don't measure, so it's not exact. And I don't need every layer to be textured, just my first layer. I mean, you can put it in every layer, but once I establish the texture, then everything else just goes over the top of it. And this is just some black chalk style paint that I'm mixing with this. And I added too much paint. And how much you put in also depends on how high you want your peaks to be when you stipple. And so this is a small piece, so I don't need to have like really high peaks on this. So I don't need my paint to be really thick, but I do want to be able to get some good texture on there. And I'm just going to stipple this black paint on everything. And this is going to be my base coat. So we've done like some grungy textures together, like on the wings of the art block, but I really didn't apply any texture. That was just the color. So this is going to look a little different. We'll compare the two when we're finished. And stippling just means I'm pouncing the paint on there. Hey, Vicky, how are you? Hey, Brenda. Hey, Joe. Joe, was it you that bought a t-shirt on Whatnot? Bought a t-shirt for me on Whatnot? because I sent you a message if it was you. And I don't think I've gotten a response yet, which I know I don't always get my messages on whatnot because I don't have my alert set up. So unless I like go over there and look, I don't necessarily see it. I'm going to turn that around. I'll come back and paint that some more. Oh, man. And I'm keeping these on these little pieces of plates just because it's not like they would be stable by themselves, right? I'm going to need a little bit more paint. I miscalculated. Hi, Yvette. I had somebody buy a t-shirt and I don't have the size that they wanted. I was going to see if they wanted another size or if they wanted to cancel their order, but I haven't heard back yet. And recycled, you guys who are coming to the retreat, if you guys want to order shirts, you can order them now and we can have them for you on the night of the meet and greet on Thursday night. So that way, rather than paying for shipping, you can just pick them up when you get here. So just let me know. I'll put a link inside of the retreat group. You guys, if you haven't registered for the retreat, we still have seats available. The retreat is scheduled for the last weekend in April. So it's right around the corner. It feels like it's tomorrow. I have to go up in my warehouse, you guys. There's like a loft. And there is what's supposed to be stairs, but it's really like a giant leaning ladder. But I need to go into the loft and start pulling stuff out for the retreat so I can figure out exactly like I've been buying stuff, but you know how it is. You buy it piecemeal. I need to see everything together so I can make sure I have everything. And at the retreat, you guys, it includes everything. All of your art supplies, your apron that you have for the weekend. You guys get paintbrushes in your swag bags that you get to take home. And I really try to make it so that everybody has access to the supplies. So, you know, sometimes you go and I don't know, maybe you're working with a gel plate and there's one gel plate for every table or something like that. Like everybody has their own gel plate. And we will be doing some additional different experiments with the gel plate this year. So there's enough supplies so that everybody has supplies. I think this year I'm going to have more scissors. I did hear you guys last year that there should have been more scissors at the table. So we'll have more scissors than we had last year. I always like to turn my projects around and look at them from a different angle because when you do that, you'll see that you've missed like a lot of area when you're painting. Even when I was doing furniture, I would do that. I used to like to turn my pieces upside down and look at them. And then you see all kind of areas that didn't get product. And we're going to dry this and then we'll start adding in the other colors. And I do have some white that's showing, but I think I'll just deal with them with the other colors because we have a lot more dabbing to do. Hey, Melissa. I'm here again, girl, for more punishment. No, I'm just kidding. So, you guys, when these lives, David was like, you should do a quick live every day. And his idea was for me to show up and do something really quick, like 20 to 30 minutes and really easy. But y'all know me. And actually, what's happened is that, hey, Connie, I didn't see you pop in, is actually me coming to create every day. You know, it's interesting because sometimes you like get in a creative rut and you don't know where to start. And what I've learned is to just start. Like, it doesn't even matter what you make, it doesn't even matter if it turns out. It's just the process of getting busy with your hands and activating the part of our brain that creates is what happens, because I've been showing up creating with you guys every day. And so I am actually like on fire to create more because of the work that you and I are doing together. So that inspires me to have more ideas, for better or for worse, right? And I don't know. So like I have tomorrow all planned out already. And I'm really excited about tomorrow's project too. And I'm not going to need a lot of any one paint, right? Because these are just little pieces. I used to have 5011 popsicle sticks up here, but I'm not seeing one right now. We'll try this little skewer. And I'm going to do a little bit of red. Just a wee bit. And I'm just super haphazard. And honestly, right now, I'm just kind of focused on hitting those spots that are white. And a couple of you have messaged me about the suitcase that we started last Sunday, because I said I was going to do it last Monday. But what had happened was we started with the clipboards and I never made it to the suitcase. So tomorrow night, I will finish the suitcase from last week. Scout's honor. And then we'll do something else. And this may end up in my living room. We'll see what happens. I was thinking I may just set up like a whole huge vignette in my house with all the things that we've made when we're all done. I think I'm going to do that. And then I'll take a picture and I'll share it. Because I have a wall, I have a dresser on that wall. And so I have things on the dresser. And then I have like 2 floating shelves, I believe, on that wall um, that we made using old sewing drawers. So like I have plenty of space to put stuff. So I may just redo that whole wall and incorporate the things that we've made together through the month of January. I think that would be fun. And I'm really just trying to get the white right now and make sure we don't have any white peeking through anywhere. You guys know when you paint, as the paint dries, it contracts. And so even if you thought you had full coverage, you might end up with white spots after your paint dries. And that's normal. And I like having these colors pushed down in the recesses anyways. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've covered all of the white, I believe. And so I'm going to go back and forth with these different colors. And I'm really focused on pushing them down into the recesses. because I'm going to go back over and dry brush with black over the top. Doesn't that look nice and ugly? It's interesting because I've learned to sometimes when you're creating, especially if it's a complicated finish that takes a lot of layers, you have to be confident when it looks like trash, right? Like there comes a point where you're in your process and it looks horrible. Um, and that's why repetition is important because you just come to learn that, okay, it's not going to look horrible forever. It just looks horrible right now. And I know that when I'm crafting, but when it comes to my artwork, I'm still learning that. And so a lot of times I get stuck. I have a piece I'm working on right now. I haven't touched it, you guys, for days. And it's just because I'm being a scary cat. Okay, let's dry this and then we'll come in and dry brush with some black and push some of those colors back a little bit. Trust the Royce process. Hey, Brenda from Colorado. Oh my gosh, is it cold in Colorado too? Julie, it is two shapes that I've kind of mashed together. You'll be able to see them better. It's a shield with a crown on the top of it. It's what it is. So I've taken two molds and I've married them. And we're going to add them to our bookends in just a few minutes. This heat will also help my glue to really dry. So, and I just have them on. So the food dehydrator that I have, the trays are not flat, which is the only thing I don't like. So I'll usually cut out like a paper plate so that everything dries flat and sit in there so that everything dries flat. And so I just kept them on the paper plate since, I don't know, it'll help keep my surface clean so we don't get anything on the papers. And I think we're dry. And so I am going to go over with black. And I'm just going to like dry brush over with the black. It's a little bit more than dry brushing because my brush is probably a little wetter than it would be. But so I don't want to get rid of everything, but I just want to knock it back just a little bit. And then at the very end, we're going to be going over everything with some dark wax too. So I'm keeping that in mind when I'm going over this. So like this is what it is before the dry brush, right? And then after the dry brush, you can see how all of the oranges and yellows are mostly in the recessed areas, but you can still see them. And like I said, it's a little bit more than a dry brush because my brush is wetter than it would be if I was doing a true dry brush, but I'm not going in with a brush loaded with black paint. And I'm really focusing on laying paint on the high points. And I thought about putting something inside of my shield, but I couldn't make up my mind. And 12 o'clock got here, so we're going to leave them blank. Although where did my stencils go? I think this number is going to be too big. I love scoring craft supplies at the thrift store, and I did score like these little stencils, number stencils too. I thought they were right here. because I could stencil a number, but I won't. We'll just leave it blank. It'll be fine. And then that way, I mean, they're covered, they're rusty, right? And then we still have to put some black wax. So I'm not gonna put any more black because I don't want to obliterate all the different colors when we go in with the wax. But I do want to add some metallic. Should I do copper or should I do gold? I think I'm gonna do copper today. We've been doing a lot of gold. So I have just a little bit of copper paint here. Is it gonna look too pink? Let's see. And I'm literally gonna just finger paint and I'm just going over. And this is gonna help to bring out the details too, because they're kind of hidden. See, you can see a lot more details now with the gold on there. Sorry, you guys, I have to find the camera. It just really brings out the details. So here, you really can't see them, but with the metallic, you can really see them a lot better. And I could have used a lighter color too, but when I'm doing my rusty patinas, I like to use metallics. And I like using my finger because it just gives me more control. And I'm just rubbing over the high points of my piece. I don't want that to go into the recesses. And so those are done now. Don't they look ritzy? Okay, so let me clean up a little bit. And now we get to the fun stuff, which is the decoupage. And then we'll assemble everything um, at the end. I feel like I'm working on all these different components separately, and they may not make sense, but I promise they will in the end. Oh, I know, copper. I've been doing gold for weeks, huh, Chris? Okay, so now we are going to decoupage our pieces. But first, let's grunge up the edges. Now that you guys are hanging out with me, like, I don't know how many of you are hanging out with me every day, but you guys are probably seeing my patterns more clearly now, aren't you? Because you're watching me create back to back to back. And so we are going to add some grunge on here. That's why I'm not really too worried about those colors um, coming over the edge because we don't want perfection anyways. I may need to add some more ink to my dauber. We do not want stone. I want black. Hmm. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more of, this is like an ochre yellow ink. I'm going to add that to my black just to warm it up a little bit. So I need my ink to be wet enough so I can actually blend it. See the difference? This side is like really stiff and this one is really feathery. So my ink dauber is barely putting down any ink. It's drying right away. So I don't have time to feather it out before it dries. And this is just an old brush. I don't know. It ended up with this job, so I actually think we're gonna finish on time. Great. I don't know. We still have the decoupage, but we're gonna do an easy decoupage today. So I'm gonna add a little bit of heat just to make sure this ink is set. The last thing I want is to go decoupage and have it running all over the place, right? You guys are so sweet, Flea. I appreciate you. I am trying to level up my projects though. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Like, oh, I know. I need to drink my tea, huh? I'm operating on adrenaline right now, Tara. But thank you for the reminder. If I pass out, one of you guys has to call David on his Facebook Messenger and tell him to come get me, okay? That's our emergency plan. Yes, Chris, and you too. It's nice having my hype squad. It really is. I'm not even being facetious, like seriously. Okay. So that side is there. Now we are going to decoupage. Um, if you came in late, we're gonna use the como se dice, the dress form project blocks, but we're actually only going to use this little part right here. And we talked about the project blocks early about why I create them, because I think it makes it easier. If you're making a vignette or a series of projects, you don't have to worry about whether they go together if you're using one project block on all of them, because they're made to go together, right? And so I think it frees you up if you're new to creating. It frees you up from having to make those choices, um, which can be a little daunting sometimes. Let me put that aside before I end up with paint on my paper. And so, like, you have all these pieces, and even though they're all very different, they're all made to go together. This is one of my favorite designs. This is probably one of the first ones I made really early on. Um, I'm surprised I don't use it more often. So I'm gonna decoupage these like they're one piece because I like barely have enough to cover both of these. So I'm just gonna pretend like I'm decoupaging one piece and then I will separate them later. I'm gonna leave a little bit of separation in the middle so I can go in with my blade and cut them apart later. But we're gonna pretend we're just decoupaging one um, surface. And I feel like that's gonna be the easiest way to make sure that my paper goes across both pieces. I'm trying to save my dry clean brushes for my crackle, which I don't know if we're gonna have time to do today. We may have to finish the crackle on Monday when we go back and do the finishing work on our pieces. And so I'm gonna miss this first so it can start relaxing while I'm laying down my decoupage medium. I am missing the back of this specific paper because it does have some really dark places. And I don't know if you guys saw my reel where I talked about, and it was this paper specifically, and I was able to show how the water absorbs in the lighter areas because there's less pigment on the paper. So if you're decoupaging with something really dark or really saturated, then you'll probably want to miss the back of the paper. But if you're decoupaging with something lighter, then you can just miss the front. And this starter row is super important, right? Because I want to make sure that my paper is positioned so I can cover both of these. And this is kind of a geometric design. So I want it to be straight too, right? I hope it's straight. We'll see what happens. Y'all know I'm not good at that. And now that I have my starter row, I feel like I can just go ahead and do the rest and it'll be fine. And again, I have a little bit of a space between these two pieces, enough for me to be able to get a blade through to cut them apart once everything dries. And I contemplated so many different designs for this, but I do think that the Harlequin is perfect for this vibe. And I'm looking from the side to make sure I didn't leave any spots without any coverage because I don't want to have any bubbles in my decoupage finish. I forgot to miss that. Could have been relaxing while I was doing that. And I'm going to decoupage from one side to the other, pushing out any air as I go. So I don't get any bubbles from air being left underneath my paper either. And we are going to dry this. And then we can start assembling our piece. I'm getting excited because I can see it coming together. I love the dress form. I just think it's so I think it's because it like it como se dice, it meets a lot of different styles, right? Because it can be Victorian, it can be a little steampunky too, but it can also be like kind of girly. And if you like sewing, you may be attracted to it as well. Um, but yes, I do love the dress forms. You guys can probably tell they're one of my favorites because I use them a lot. Exactly, Chris. That's what I was thinking. The Harlequins goes with the crowns on the shield. Well, the shield and the crown, really. And I always love when I do because you can do your halo on top of your paper too. I just think it's more subtle underneath. And I think it's more effective at doing the thing that I like, which is giving it depth. Because it's almost like the middle is coming out at you because it's lighter. And because it's less obvious, it just feels like there's depth there, not that there's a not that there's a halo there. I'm going to dry this really good here in the middle so I can cut these apart cleanly. When you're trimming your paper, making sure it's dry really does increase the odds of you getting a clean cut like 100 times. Hey, Ruth. Girl, every day. Every day. I should. Flea, I should make some Hype Squad shirts. I'm actually, so I sent an email. I have a young man, like I'm good at graphics like for like creating, but when it comes like to commercial graphics, I'm not as good at those. And so the young man who does a lot of my commercial graphics for me, I sent him an email yesterday to see if he can design a shirt for me that says where experimentation goes, creativity follows. And so I'm excited to see what he makes. I should check with him today. So I'm just going to take my blade. This is just a simple, you know, razor blade. I don't know what brand it is. And you guys will notice. So you have different kinds of blades that you can buy. And you guys notice that mine is kind of fat. And it's because of my hands. So when I'm shopping for my craft supplies, like I am going to create. Like I am just going to create. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to do it. And so I always think about buying supplies that help me do it easier. And this fat handle, especially with this grip right here, goes a long way to help me to be able to use it easier. Especially today, because we have a lot of cloud cover today, which you guys know my joints are just mad today. I am moving slow today. Okay. Phew. I think I got it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest with my sanding block if I can find it. And you guys see I'm going down all the way. I'm not going across. I'm going, my motion is down, even though I'm kind of starting at the bottom of my block, and then I'm pulling it down as I go like that. That way I can get the speed without risking tearing my paper and not getting a clean trim. This edge is kind of weird because it's like not straight. So it's fine. I'm kind of shaving back to that other color that's underneath. But remember, we're going to wax all this anyways when we're done. So it's going to be good. So we have our Harlequin. And these are bookends. If you're just not coming in, I just took the bottom part off of the bookend so that I could work on it easier and not have to worry about that piece. Or you're trying to get down to the bottom but you can't. I mean, it's just harder because there's something there. So these are the bottoms to our bookends, and I'll put those back on when we're done. Should I paint those copper? I just thought about that. I think I should. I think I might go over those with some clear primer and paint them copper before I attach them, which we won't do together, y'all. That'll be too much. We'll be here till tomorrow. Okay. So, and the bookends had like a texture on the front, but I'm flipping them. And so this is going to be the back. And like we're legitimately almost done because all I have left to do is what time is it? Oh, it's 1:27. I have time for crackly. Are you guys okay if we go a little bit long today? So I can do some crack-a-lacking? Oh, I love it. I'm going to try to center it, but I'm not going to measure. So we're going to see what happens. I'm being careful because I have two pieces here that I put together to make up this. And I don't know if you guys can see, like I have a lot of texture. It's so hard when you're doing white on this camera. I just laid my butter knife down and I rubbed it across there. And there's a ton of texture on the back of here. And I just see clay artists do it whenever they're like going to be using slip to stick pieces together. So I figured it's probably a good idea here too. Because you guys know I watch everybody create. I steal ideas from everywhere. Let me look at that. That's off center. And anywhere that I get glue, I'll just go in with my little brush and take it off while it's wet. Okay. So that one is adhered. And we have this one. And this is just Type Bond quick and thick. Somebody harassed me on one video, like, that's wood glue. It is, but like, just because someone says it's for something doesn't mean that's what you have to use it for. You can use it for whatever you want. And a lot of times when they brand something for a specific purpose, it's because they want to charge you more money for it. Okay, let's put these side by side. Although they're not going to be side by side. Oh, that's pretty good, Royce. So if they're a little different, like no one's going to know. And if they do know, they can fix it for you. If they do notice, they can fix it for you. I love it when a good plan comes together. And so while these are adhering, let's do some crackle-lacking. Is that okay? If we do some crackle today? Because you guys knew I was going to, right? So I'm going to start off with my step number 1 of my crackle medium. I don't know. Y'all might be tired of me by now. It's been a whole month. And I'm going to put down step 1. And you guys know I like to do little hatch marks, like little short brush strokes when I'm laying it down. And I'm being generous with my medium. The more you put down, the bigger and deeper your cracks are going to be. I do like laying my medium down, you know, different. So I don't want it to be uniform all over. So some places it'll be thinner. Some places I'll put it down thicker, so that my cracks are kind of different and not like completely uniform all over the piece. So basically, I load my brush and I spread it around. And then when I run out, I just like keep going. And then the areas where I'm keep going are going to be thinner, and that's going to be fine. Those will be smaller or less and or fewer cracks. And for me, I don't, if we're attempting to replicate, antique and vintage items, it's not, the wear and tear of time is not going to be uniform. So don't stress yourself out if you do your crackle medium and it's not the same all over. Because if you look at even stoneware, there will be some areas where there's a lot of crazing, and there'll be some areas where there isn't any. Or like an old oil painting, it'll be the same thing. Seldom is it uniform. And so we're going to dry this. And you see me going back over. I'm not going back over an area I've touched already. I'm actually going back over any area where I didn't put any product, because this product is really shiny and I don't want to have a dry spot, right? Or I don't want to have a spot where my sheen is different. So if you see me going back over, it's just to touch an area where I didn't get any product. You don't want to go back over and touch somewhere where you've already laid down product. You can disrupt the process and you may not get crackles there. Let's see, I use Coben wrap. If my tools are too difficult to hold, just wrap it and it sticks to itself. Plus, it's reusable. I'm going to have to look that up, Ruth. I know when I worked, when I was for the nonprofit that I worked for, we provided support to seniors and their families. Um, and a lot of the work that we did was around like adaptive aids. And so I always think about what we use when it comes to supplies. And so there's like little foam tubes you can buy and you can cut them to size to fit on anything. I should buy some of those just so I can show you guys. Just in case you're like me. Hey, Lou from Colorado. I'm kind of feeling like the gold would go better with the Harlequin. The copper feels a little off. So I think I'm going to go back in with gold before we wax everything. You guys agree, right? Like, I think the gold, see how it's just more cohesive than that copper is. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Let's see, Ruth, do me a favor. You're on YouTube, so I'm probably not gonna see your comments because I don't want to mention it during the video because I have retailers that are sharing it. But I will, if you put it in the communities here on YouTube, Ruth, I'll let you know what mold I use. Okay, because these actually came off of the same mold. It's two different pieces, but they did come off of the same mold. And I have one more spot that needs to dry, but I also want to go over, it's bothering me at this point. Like I have to fix it right now. So we are going to change that copper out. I'm sorry, Chris. We're going to change that copper out for some gold. And I'm just going to use some pigments. Let me do it where you guys can see me. This is some pigment, some gold pigment. And I'm going to mix it with my water-based sealer, and I'm gonna make me some gold paint. Where is my spatula? And the cool thing about this is you can mix it to be as opaque or as transparent as you want. If you want it to be really transparent, you can just add more clear coat. If you want it to be more opaque, then you add less. And for me, I want more because I actually want to cover up that copper. I think that's going to be more cohesive. I mixed way too much too. Dang it. I hate when I do that. That's better, right? I think that gold goes better than the copper did. just because the paper is has like really yellow, green yellow undertones. Okay. So I see a few white spots. I'm gonna go back in with my dryer, and then we're gonna go over with step 2. Yeah, it is much better, right? And that's the thing about creating. Sometimes we're afraid to make decisions because we are afraid that our decisions might not be the right decisions, but more often than not, you can always change it, right? Okay, so let's do step 2. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in with little short crisscrossy motions. Y'all, I'm going to go in the house and I already know I am going to be done because I am operating off of adrenaline right now. I can feel it. It's kind of funny. The more older you get, the more self-aware you become. It's a very interesting experience because my energy is a little higher than I thought it was going to be, but I also know I get excited when I come to hang out with you guys. Short crisscrossy motions. And I didn't put any gloss on first. Dang it. So I don't know. I mean, I think we'll still get cracks, but I do find that when I start on a glossy surface, I get more cracks. And we did not do that step first. But I think we're still going to get cracks though. But yesterday was crack-a-lacking because we did the gloss medium on the surface before we started with the crackle medium. Okay, let me look from the side. And now I'm just going in and making sure that I don't have any areas that are like dry or that don't have enough medium because this dry is really shiny. Oh, wow, I missed a whole corner. How did that happen? Okay, so put that in the water right away. And I'm gonna dry this and I'm also gonna really heat it up. I'm gonna take advantage of the heat from my dryer to really push this to crack more. Hey Rosie, thank you. I've been wanting to do bookends. I don't know. I just hadn't taken the time, I guess. Now I have to decide if I want to go in with a brown wax or a black wax. I was thinking maybe we haven't done this yet. Maybe we could mix together some brown and black wax and we'll get the best of both worlds. Because we know that the noir is like an almost black. So if I go with the brown wax, it's going to be more of a really dark gray. But if I go in with black wax, it'll be black. But I kind of like the warmth of the brown wax. So I'm thinking maybe I'll add some brown wax to some black wax and we'll get a really dark, um, warm black, I think. And it's already cracking. They're pretty fine cracks, though. I don't have any really big ones. Hopefully, they're deep enough that we can get some wax in there. Hi, Cindy. And I do see some crack-a-lack, and I just want to make sure it's dry. You guys feel like you spend most of your time watching paint dry? Lou is asking, can't you make any color wax by using the wax and adding a little clay paint? You can, but I have the black and the brown, so I just figure I'll mix them together. But if I want it like a, and I would probably use the pigments if I wanted it, if I wanted to color my wax rather than the clay, just because the clay isn't completely transparent. But yes, you could do that. Okay. I think we are dry. So we are going to do the wax. And I'm going to cut a piece of my mat. You guys, I know you guys are tired of me talking about this mat, but I do love it. I'm going to mix a little bit of wax on this mat right here. Because we're not going to need a ton, right? And I'll use this spatula. Out of all my spatulas, this one is my favorite one. And I think it's the shape. So I'm probably going to make too much, but we are going to roll with it. And my ebony is way over there. I'll be right back. And if I have anybody who's new to decoupage, you don't have to do all this complicated stuff. We could have just painted it white and decoupaged it, and it still would have been like an improvement, right? So you don't have to be extra like me. And that's black. That's way too much wax, but I'll figure out a way to store it. Sorry. I don't want my stuff drying out. So let's mix I'm just going to mix them. We're going to mix them 50-50, basically. We're going to see what happens. I think we're going to get a beautiful warm black. That's what I'm hoping for anyways. And where is my wax? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to use my small wax brush, which is a little janky, but it works really good. Oh, Lou, the new paper. So you guys, we were supposed to do the release tomorrow, but we're going to postpone till Wednesday. Between the post office being closed last Monday and the severe weather all over the country, I really want to make sure retailers have the paper in hand before we release. And so the release will be on Wednesday. So you guys come for Wednesday's craft and chat with Royce, and I'll be revealing the new papers, and we'll do a project together using one of the papers. I got to get some wax in there too, so that doesn't look bright and weird. And I'm just using a lint-free cloth to go in and wipe that back. Oh, there's a lot more crackle than I thought there was. I say that a lot, don't I? It's because you can't really see it because everything is clear. And then when you put something in there that gives you more contrast, then you can see it. I'm going to see if you guys can see it. See, the wax just adds so much. And then, can you guys see that crackle? It's like perfect, right? The perfect size. I love it. I'm going to go over, we're going to lose some of our shimmer, but I think we'll be okay because I really do want to wax over this. It's going to give it a lot more depth. Oh, my knee is killing me. And you guys notice how I'm able to like poke at this and it's glued on here really well, even though I just glued it. And then I'm going to wipe off the excess and we're still going to get our gold back. But that is number one. And of course, the second one's going to be the same. And so these will be bookends. I'll put this back on the bottom, right? And so it'll be a bookend, and this will be the part that will be facing out. Oh, yeah, we still got to wax the back, don't we? And we used milk paint on the back. We used clay-based paint, we sealed it, and then we put milk paint over that. And I actually think I mixed just enough wax, which is good. And I am going right in with my wax. I'm not starting with the clear wax because I want this to be dark, right? If I wanted to control like just how dark it's getting, I'd be more cautious and I would start off with clear wax first. But I really do want to darken this milk wax so that it's almost black rather than a dark gray. I'll show you guys what color we got when we used just the brown wax over this milk paint versus what we got when we used the black wax. And then we'll look at this one and see if there's enough difference for the treble. You know what I mean? Sometimes you go through the trouble of doing something and your result really isn't like significant enough for the extra effort. So we'll look at that and we'll see. So I'm going to wipe back. And you're right, Flea. We could have made a gravestone with these. I have to remember that if I see another pair. And this is going to be facing the inside toward the books, but I still wanted my piece to look finished. So um, we went ahead and did the whole thing, not just the front. Okay, I'm going to wipe this way. Okay, so this is our back side that'll be facing the back, just chippy goodness. And then we have the front. So this one is with the black and brown wax. And then this piece was the noir milk paint with brown wax, right? And you guys can see like it's really just a really dark gray. And this was the noir with the black wax. And so I feel like this isn't quite as well, I don't know. It kind of looks kind of the same, huh? Hmm. I think it looks a little bit warmer though than just the black wax. I think it was worth the effort. Looking at it in person, I do. I have a piece of a random paper that I didn't sand off really good. So that is our piece. And so we just have the other one, which is going to be essentially the same. And so we've essentially made an art block, right? That's what we've done. And that's what we've been doing all week. But this one is for practical purposes because it's a bookend. And so even though like it's basically the same process that we use when we made our art, not the same process because we use different processes with each art block, but you guys know what I mean. It's the same approach that we've used for our art blocks, but we were still able to take that approach and apply it to um, a project that has purpose. And so if you're someone who maybe you're looking at somebody making a piece of art and you're thinking like, oh, I don't know, if that's for me. I like to do projects that are going to be more practical. Just know that you can still take the elements and or the approach and you can apply it to a more practical project like this one. So now we're going to have this beautiful pair of bookends that would fit wonderfully in my living room, I must say. Oh, I could have used some gears too, huh? I actually have some gears. It's too late now. All decisions are made. The crackle on here is so good. It always shows up better on the photos. So make sure you guys come back to the page later on today and I'll be sure and post a photo. I'll go find some books too to put in here so we can see it at work. And that wax just comes right off of that metallic and you can still see it beautifully. I do still have some white in here. That's bugging me. Let's see if I can get some wax in there. So at least it's not like a bright white. I'll leave that sit for a few minutes. And when you're working on something and you go over with a glaze or a wax, it really unifies everything tonally. And so it makes things look like they go together. Oh, you can see that now, right? You guys see that cracker lacking, right? Oh yeah, the people in my membership, they've already seen the papers. They get like first peek. They saw the papers like 2 weeks ago. Of course, they're sad now because we're postponing the launch. I'm sorry, Flea. I'm not laughing. I'm just, your post yesterday made me laugh. I'm being a little stingy with my wax now because I want to make sure that I have enough. But I think I probably mixed like just enough. And again, you guys, I'm using a towel to like buff my wax. So I'm going to make sure that I don't leave this balled up anywhere. I'm going to spread it out or hang it up somewhere so that it can off gas safely. Because if you ball it up, it can like combust. If enough gas is built up in there, it can spontaneously combust and you have a fire on your hand because there are solvents in these waxes. So um, if you're using a towel, just make sure that you lay it flat. Like it's not like a huge thing. As long as you lay it flat or hang it, you're fine. Just don't ball it up and, throw it somewhere. You guys should see my art studio. I have like rags hanging everywhere because I use solvents to clean my brushes from the oil paint. But I use a citrus based solvent though. So it's not like super caustic like the other ones are. I know a lot of people are weary of oil paints because you have to use solvents, but not all solvents are the same. And the one I use is from Eco House. It smells like lemons. I'm gonna warm this wax up a little bit because it's like almost gone and I don't want to mix anymore. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm trying to warm this up a little bit and it'll loosen up so I can use it. I can't warm up my brush though because it's synthetic. So I know I've shown you guys how you can use your heat gun on your brush, but that's only good if your brush is has natural bristles. If it's a synthetic bristle, you will ruin your brush. So don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, not that if I ruin this brush, I'll be heartbroken because it's not like it's a really special brush. But anyways, that is it for today, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project. A lot of experimenting, right? Everything worked. We lucked out today. It doesn't always work, believe me. We do a lot of experimenting inside of the Roycycled Besties membership. If you guys would like to learn more information, you can find it at roycycledacademy.com. And when I say experimenting, I mean like really, like um, I buy the different brands, we try them out, what works, what doesn't work, what happens when we do this, what happens when we do that, how does that work? That's why I'm so good at the Crackle because we actually did a few weeks just on Crackle. Um, and so that's it. These are going to be my bookends. This is going to be the part that's facing out, and this part will be facing in. And I just think it was a huge update from what we started with. Completely different personality, right? Um, Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I will be here every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the month of January. So we have a few more days together. Please join us tomorrow night. David and I will be here for Chatting and Crafting with Royce and David at our normal time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will not be launching the new designs. I'm so sorry. But I really want to make sure that my retailers have product in hand before we launch so you guys can be able to purchase them. And so we are going to launch Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time during our quick craft with Royce. So be sure and join me then. But you guys remember, where experimentation goes, creativity follows. Please make time to play and to experiment in your creative practice. And I will see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for joining me today.